अस्सलामुअलैकुम, मैं हूँ नैयर अली। नाज़रीन, 2020 में जब कोविड ने पूरी दुनिया को हिट किया, उस वक्त तमाम दुनिया में जो है वो एक ट्रेंड निकला कि परवाज़ें बंद हो रही हैं और लोगों की आमदो-रफ़्त मुतासिर हुई, लोगों को मुश्किलात बहुत सारी का सामना करना पड़ा। ऐसे में वर्जिन अटलांटिक एयरलाइन ऐसी एयरलाइन थी जिसने अपनी 3 जो रूट्स हैं वो पाकिस्तान में मुतारिफ़ कराए। तो ये बड़ा एक स्ट्रेंज सा हमें आइडिया उनका लगा था, लेकिन ना सिर्फ ये कि उन्होंने मुतारिफ़ करवाई बल्कि उसको कामयाब भी बनाया, इस तमाम प्रोसेस को, इस तमाम ऑपरेशन को। और आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं 2 हमारे बहुत ही मुअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान और रीजनल हेड हैं लीज़ल गेरिके, जो यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान तशरीफ़ लाई हैं, और इनके साथ साथ हमें ज्वाइन किया है एलेक्स मैकओवन ने, और ये साउथ एशियन कंट्री मैनेजर हैं। थैंक्स टू बोथ ऑफ यू एंड वेलकम टू पाकिस्तान। Liesl, first I would like to ask you that welcome to Pakistan, and is this your first trip or you were here before, and how you find it so far?
So first, salam alaikum to all of your wonderful viewers today. Yes, it is my very first trip to Pakistan. I must say I had very high expectations of my visit because I have a team who've been telling me all about Pakistan for the last 2 years. And it has exceeded every single one of my expectations. From the food, the culture, the sights, the scenery. We went trekking this morning. I can't wait to come back really because I think this trip is too short, but it is my first visit and it's wonderful to be here.
Liesl, and you look lovely in the
Thank you.
local attire, you know. And Alex, what about you? Is it your first trip, and what are your expectations when you are in Pakistan?
I always expect good food. I always have amazing food when I'm in Pakistan. This is my second trip, and yeah, I always have the most wonderful food. Breakfast, lunch, dinner is always a treat. So that's one of my favourite things about Pakistan.
And I hope you put on some weight as well when
I
you are
think
living.
at least 5 kilograms every time I come.
Okay.
Yeah, the hospitality is incredible. You know, I think people show their love through food, and I think, you know, our job is really to get more people to visit Pakistan to experience this culture, this hospitality, this incredible food. You know, the scenery, the mountains, everything is just wonderful here. So yeah, I'm very happy to be back.
Okay. And Liesl, what are your plans when you are in Pakistan?
I maybe want to reflect just on how complicated it was to start Pakistan because I think the world forgets very quickly about how things have changed because it almost feels like we're back in a normal trading environment or flying or travel environment. But 2.5 years ago, when as an airline, much like every other airline out in the world, we're fully grounded with our aircraft, we were looking at opportunities and places where we could fly to with the fleet and aircraft that we had, and Pakistan was one of those destinations that came up. None of us had ever been to Pakistan. We hadn't ever operated to this market before, and quite frankly, I don't think that we've ever in the history of Virgin Atlantic set up a market without even visiting the country and really understanding what the opportunity is. And so we are very, very, very grateful to an incredible team here and our partners with Jerry's International, our local team here who've done a phenomenal job in the startup. At the time of starting Pakistan, for us it was very much around just acting on opportunity through the COVID times. And quite clearly what we've seen is that those expectations have really been exceeded. It's delivered beyond what we actually thought it could do, to the point where, you know, we are here, you ask what are our plans this week, so we're here to share with our trade customers and with the media the news that we are expanding. We're adding additional frequency into this market. We'll be increasing frequency into Lahore and into Islamabad. And it's for us really the commitment that we have to this market and really showcasing that to those who love to travel with the brand, experience the brand. And then for Alex and I who are here together is really spending time with our most valuable customers and our team. So those are sort of high-level plans.
Congratulations on completing the 2 years of Virgin Atlantic Airlines. Alex, as right now we are talking, Pakistan is hit by the floods, and the whole nation is hit by that devastating floods. What do you think when the world is facing that climate change thing? And we always talk about carbon emission in the environment. What Virgin Atlantic Airline is doing to fulfill that dream that there will be no carbon in the industry and all these things?
Well, I mean, first of all, our deepest sympathy for the floods in Pakistan. It's been a really devastating time for the country, so we really hope the country bounces back and that people can get back to kind of normality, because I know it's been a really tough time, so our deepest sympathies from Virgin Atlantic. In terms of climate change, I think we all have a role to play to, adjust our behaviour, whether that's individuals or whether that's companies. So airlines are no exception. And we take that responsibility very seriously. For us, we want to be net zero by 2050. So that's our target. That's an ambitious target. It's not an easy target, but obviously we're making big strides in that space. So we have a very young fleet. On average, our aircraft are about 6 years old, which is very young, which means that we don't burn as much emissions as some of our competitors. So we're playing our part, but obviously, there's so much we need to do in the next 20 years, the next 30 years to actually achieve that objective. And it's not just about aircraft, we also look at amenity kit. So, all of the things that we have on board the aircraft, making sure that that's recyclable, making sure that that's kind to the environment. So it's a big task, but it's something that us as an industry and us as an airline, we take very seriously.
Okay, and LIEZL, why did Virgin Atlantic choose Pakistan to start their operation? There's a world to go. Why Pakistan?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, the opportunity really came out of the turmoil of COVID. The US was closed all the way through to the end of November last year. It's only not even been a year since we've been able to operate between the UK and the US. And as an airline, we had aircraft, we had crew, and we had to take the aircraft and find opportunities for our aircraft and our crew to operate. And the relationship between the UK and Pakistan has always been very strong. There's a very, very large diaspora market in the UK. It's the third largest diaspora market in the UK. And we really believed when we did the modelling that there was an opportunity to take at that moment in time that we could use efficiently our aircraft, and Pakistan really came up as the number one opportunity. In fact, it was the only market that we launched through COVID. There was no other market that we had gone into. Yes, we increased a little bit of capacity, we sent more aircraft into some other parts of the world, but this was the only market that we invested in.
LIEZL, how many routes and flights we are talking about you are having right now for Pakistan?
So there's two stories, and I may just ask Alex to help me out with the exact numbers, because we operate between London and Islamabad and London and Lahore, and also temporarily between Manchester and Islamabad, and that changes. So when you start to actually count the number of flights from January and February next year, we're increasing frequency into Lahore and to Islamabad. But can you give me the numbers,
so
Alex?
Right now we operate 9 flights per week.
Okay. That's a big number.
Yeah, so that's for us a significant number, because we're not the biggest airline. We have roughly 37 aircraft in our fleet, so we're dedicating a couple of those to Pakistan. So, like LIEZL said, during COVID, we had to take opportunities. We had to look at where the demand was, and obviously people wanted to visit their friends and family. They wanted to be close to people during lockdown. They wanted to.
How many people did you carry? We were talking about.
So I think last year, 2021, we carried 120,000 people.
Okay, great.
But this year, in 9 months, we've already carried 180,000 people. So that shows how quickly this market has recovered and how much demand there is for travel between the two countries. So obviously we want to grow that number, but there's a huge opportunity. The diaspora community is massive in the UK, but also we want to encourage leisure travel. We want to encourage people to come here on holiday. We want to encourage people to experience Pakistan themselves.
Alex, what was the reason when we talked about the suspension of our flight between Manchester and Islamabad? Were there any reasons, or is it permanent or not?
So Manchester was one of our most popular routes, and so we'd really like to return to that market from Islamabad, because I know that that's where a lot of the diaspora is based, in the north of England. But there we have some operational challenges, which mean that our Manchester services are a bit smaller than what they used to be. So we're focusing on Heathrow for now, but we're hopeful that we can return back to Manchester in the future, because of course it's a huge market. Lots of people ask us about that. It's very popular.
Okay, LIEZL, how is the business going on in Pakistan when we talk about Virgin Atlantic Airlines, and what is your future planning? Where you see the growth into 2023? That's my question actually.
So In one word, it's really exceeding expectations, and that is the bit that we really want to emphasize. We want to really thank the Pakistani public for, because they've embraced a brand that's never operated into this market. So effectively, a brand new brand, an airline that's not come here before, doesn't have any legacy or knowledge, and to in the last month achieve 98% load factor. In fact, I think it's the highest in the whole network, to be honest, is above any expectation. And so we look forward to those trends continuing. We know obviously there's ebbs and flows and peaks and troughs, and that's not going to always be consistent. But for us, it's really making sure that we deliver a consistent program to our Pakistani market, that we ramp up services that serves this particular market in the future. We really want to make sure that our passengers who operate, fly from Islamabad and Lahore, have confidence in the fact that we're here for the longer term, and we're just delighted. I mean, I think that if we can continue to perform as we have done in 2022, we really are set up for success in future.
Okay, Alex, were there any difficulties you faced, the airline faced when you started your operation here, and now we are talking about 2 years?
That's
and
right, yeah.
Do you think there is more to do?
Well, I think we started at the most difficult time, because we started right in the middle of COVID, which was a challenge, and that was a brave move, I think, for us. But I think, things have improved a lot in that time, in the space of, nearly 2 years now. And so travel restrictions were the biggest problem. That was what was holding back travel. That was holding back, the full potential of this market. But I'm glad to say that it's much more of a seamless process for travellers in both directions now. So that's really helping. I think we've had really good support from the authorities, both the UK authorities and the Pakistan Civil Aviation Authority. So that's really helped us to operate in a very easy way. We have great support from our partners, Jerry's, who are our GSA here. So it's never easy to start up a new country and a new destination. But I think, especially during COVID, and especially when we added 3 direct new routes, but I think, Pakistan has made it easy for us. We've had such a good welcome.
So do you think there is no need of ease of business thing anymore?
Well, I think the visas is something that comes up a lot in both directions. Obviously, people want to have quick access to visas, and that's something that's been quite slow after COVID. Hopefully that's something that improves over time, because obviously there's been a big backlog of visa applications. So I'm sure it will improve over time.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to be holding back travel, because people are desperate to travel, they're determined to travel. They
love to travel.
They want to visit their friends and relatives, they want to experience the world, and they want to have an adventure. So it's not holding people back, but I think that people just need to plan a bit further in advance for their trips.
Any final comment would you like to make at the end?
I would say shukriya. Thank you very much for having us. As I said, it's always wonderful to be here, and we're really proud to serve the Pakistan market. It's been a wonderful couple of years, and we look forward to many more years to come. And really proud to say we're the only direct carrier to operate between Lahore and London, and we offer the choice also for services to London and Islamabad. So long may that continue, and like I say, shukriya, thank you very much for having us.
LIEZL, are you ready to enjoy the culture here, and for how long you are here? And any last comments?
Yes, so I'm only here for a short visit, but I do intend to come back very, very soon. For us, it's really just to keep that red spirit alive here.
So he loves the food.
He loves the food. I love the food too. I love the food. I love the scenery.
And I can see your attire. You love
culture, absolutely. But for us, really, our ambition as an airline is to be the most loved travel company. And I can feel the love, I really genuinely can, and we can see the love in the numbers, and so quite clearly the Pakistani market appreciates what we've brought here, and we wish to build on that.
थैंक यू लीजल, थैंक यू एलेक्स. लीजल और एलेक्स ने हमें बताया कि वर्जिन अटलांटिक एयरलाइन का सफ़र 2 साल का पाकिस्तान में कैसा रहा. उन्होंने कुछ एक्सपेक्टेशंस भी बताई, कुछ बेहतरी के लिए तजावीज़ भी दी. इस हवाले से मज़ीद आपको अपडेट भी करेंगे. अब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफ़िज़.